Hey YouTube, so this will be a response for, his name is Mr. Nick, whatever, like Nick like 100 times. And he said, what's up, question, how do I fix and prevent loops and zigzags? And how do I get my dreads even, as in the ends kind of look bigger than the middle and the roots? How do I fix that? And also, main thing, I might have overwaxed a little in the beginning and my dreads always feel stiff, and when I tie them back and they stick up, and when I untie them, they stick up when I untie them. I think it's the wax. I use Naughty Boy Dread Wax. Thanks a lot. Wax is good if you use it right, but I've watched your videos, Mr. Nick, whatever. And first off, you have to never again use the crochet hook that you use, which being that blue one that is probably over 10 times too big for what you should be using. If I was to hold up the one I use from here, you would not even be able to see the metal part of it, because there's a handle on it and you wouldn't be able to see it. It's so small. It's I use 0.6 from Clover, or it has really good ones, or you can use the Lock Sculpta from Dreadhead HQ, which works really well. That, and then they have the loose hair tool, of course, and then they also have the new small loose hair tool, which I'm probably going to get that and test it out, just because I'm going to stop crocheting and just start using a small little hook to pull in this weight and not ever do any maintenance, because that's kind of what I've been doing, and then pull in hair, I guess, every couple weeks or months or whatever. So, but let me answer your questions accordingly, like in order, so this isn't just a random video. How do I fix and prevent loops and zigzags? Okay, loops and zigzags. I don't have any. Usually, typically, people don't have any when you start your dreads shorter, because when they're long and you start your dreads and they shrink up and then the hair pops out in certain spots that don't lock up. But the way you can fix that, loops and zigzags, and I don't know if you're too far past 6 months with your dreads, but don't use that big crochet hook. You need to get one that's 0.6. I don't even like using 1mm. I feel like I'm tearing hair when I use 1mm. Just the smaller the better. I've never seen anything smaller than 0.5, but use something like that. 0.6 if you can get it. Or the Lock Sculpta I think the Lock Sculpta might be like 0.5 or 0.6. But anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to, first off, they're more than likely going to work themselves out because your dreads aren't that long and so they're not that old. But for loops, which is hair that was on the side of the dread, and say this side, say from this part's locked up, this part's locked up, and this side has, and this side hasn't in a little bit, so it'll shrink, and that side, that'll be straight hair that curves out and comes back in. For those, you can just stick the crochet hook or the Lock Sculpta through the opposite side of that loop, and then pull those straight hairs back in, and that should work. But more than likely, dude, they're gonna work themselves out, and you can even palm roll them once they're damp as they're drying, and that'll smooth those out. And zigzags you can pretty much straighten out by palm rolling, unless they're serious zigzags. But I know you probably don't want to hear this, but I think zigzags look pretty cool. But anyway, just palm roll zigzags, because that's what the whole dread's tightened, but it's moved over, like as in it's gone over and then down and then maybe back over. I only have one that has a zigzag in it, but that's how you can fix those and the loops. And then what was your next part? How do I get my dreads even, as in the ends kind of look bigger? Oh, the reason your ends look bigger is because you pulled all your hair in. You hooked all the loose hair on your tips in with that big hook and pulled it in, so it's almost like you have this big lump of hair right here. The reason it's good to use a crochet hook to pull in tips is because you're pulling the hairs in individually at a time. You're not pulling them all in at once. So if you can imagine pulling all the hairs into a dread, I don't know how to do it with my hands, sorry, but pulling all the hairs into one spot, it's going to be easier for some of them to pop back out. Whereas if you have two hairs that pulled in on this side, two hairs that got pulled straight up to the middle, and then some that got folded and pulled in, then there's more action, so to speak, going on inside that dread, whereas it was a bunch of straight hair going this way, and now you pulled a bunch of straight hair going upwards, if that makes sense, which makes them fall back out. But it also makes them big. But if your tips are locked and they're blunted and they're staying that way, then just palm roll them. My friend Amy, she had that problem. Hers were on her tips that she blunted, they were thick, but with time they just became even, just because they tightened up inside the dread. So yeah. Next question of yours was, they kind of look bigger. How do I fix that? Also, main thing, I might have overwaxed a little in the beginning, and my dreads always feel stiff. And when I tie them back, they stick up. And when I tie them back, they stick up when I untie them. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming you're saying you just left out a period or something. When I untie them, and I think it's the wax, I use Naughty Boy Dread Wax. Naughty Boy makes good dread wax, I guess. I use Dreadhead HQ, but I only used it once, and I don't recommend using it just because it's not necessary. Because more than likely people can overuse it, but if you use it right, it does work. But I don't know about Naughty Boy because I didn't use it. So, but I know Dreadhead wax you can wash out at a hot temperature, not like boiling. Boiling will definitely get it out, but hopefully you're not that serious. I saw in your videos your dreads weren't like super like straight out stiff. It might just be that your dreads are locking up tight and that they're just, you just feel that. It might, but I can't feel your hair, so I don't know. But if you really feel like it's stiff and it's the wax, you need to use an apple cider vinegar rinse, and that solvent, it is a solvent, so it'll dissolve any of that wax junk that's in your hair. And it might not all come out the first time, dude, maybe a couple times. And the way you do that is get a apple cider vinegar from your local store that carries it, Walmart more than likely, or Target or something, and you fill up like a bottle, like I did in my other video, this bottle, maybe like just, you want to do 1 part the ACV, apple cider vinegar, and 1 part water, and then just after you washed your hair, like if you're in the shower, you're washing your hair and you've washed it with your whatever shampoo you use, which hopefully is residue free, pour that into your dreads, squirt it all over into your dreads, and let it sit for about like 20 minutes in the shower, like I guess wash the rest of yourself or whatever. And then you want to wash it out. Just chill in the shower. I know it might suck and be boring for 20 minutes, but it's good. Leave it in there for like 20-30 minutes, and then rinse all that out, and it's going to get a lot of it out. And if not, if it's serious, you might have to get it out using a lot of heat, which dip your dreads in really hot water, almost boiling water, and that'll melt some of it out. You might have to do that a few times. And obviously the way you would do that is have boiling water in a pot or whatever, take it off, be super careful, hopefully, and dip your dreads in it as well as you can, dude. That's kind of a sucky situation to be in. That, and then I've seen people do it with like a really hot like blow dryer, but dude, that seems like it just really dry heat can damage your hair. At least with the boiling water, it's still somewhat moist and it's not just gonna fry the piss out of your hair. But yep. So let me make sure that's the end of your question. Yeah. But yeah, dude, the main thing I can say, if you're going to crochet, which I see that you do for maintenance, do not ever use that hook that you use. I'm not trying to be overemphasizing to make you look dumb or anything. I'm just saying, when I saw one thing that you had it, you made a video about how to fix something, and you had it in, you like pushed it through, it popped out or whatever, and you gripped all that hair, wrapped it around, and you pulled it, and you almost couldn't get it through, and then it popped out real hard, and that is not good. And plus, you don't want to, once you learn like the finesse of using a crochet hook the correct way, which I'll show in a different video, you want to pull the hair in a few hairs at a time. Pulling it, like I was saying earlier, you don't want to pull them all in at one time, just because that's going to leave more. You're going to be able to see physical marks on dreads, which is not a huge deal. Your dreads still look sick, but you can see that. And it's better to pull hairs in from different spots, so they're just going inside of different loops, and they're not just like all in, going outside the dread, then going in, then coming back out type thing. So hopefully that helps, dude, Mr. Nick. And then for other people who want to watch this video, who want to know how to fix those things, hopefully this helps too. But I will be making more videos, if you don't see them already there, about how to crochet for maintenance with the lock sculptor or the crochet hook, and then maybe with other things if you ask. So hope this helps. Later.